Good evening, all amigos. We have a lot of information to tell you today. This is Half the Frame from Doha, Qatar. Let's start, like every night, with the headlines. Brazil and Portugal got their golden ticket. Both teams joined France as the first teams qualified to the round of 16. Politics take a backseat. USA and Iran go head-to-head in a match where the winner takes all. While some fans are breaking attendance records, others are at the beach, where spaces are divided between families and men only. We are in front of the Khalifa Stadium where Senegal crashed right now, the Ecuadorian dream. Senegal beat Ecuador 2-1. Senegal is going to the next round. Ecuador going back to the hotel, they pack, and more probably tomorrow they are going home. And the other game at the same time, Netherlands beat the home team, Qatar 2-0, is going to the next round, and Qatar is going to stay home, but they are not going to play anymore. Last night, Brazil make it to the second round, to the round of 16. Let's see how they did it. Time flies when you are having a great time. After the victory of Portugal against Uruguay, half of 64 games have been completed here in Qatar. Brazil, France and Portugal have already booked their spot in the round of 16, and only Qatar and Canada have been left without a chance to continue. Yesterday we witnessed some of the most dramatic matches so far. Cameroon made a stunning comeback against Serbia, where 6 goals were scored in an action-filled tie. The South Korean team gave it their all on the field, but could not beat Ghana, one of the biggest surprises of this tournament. From now on, every game is going to be a final. You win or you go home. Their group is history, big group. They are going to play in 2 hours. USA against Iran, and Wales against England. But let's see right now, what are the 5 stories you have to know today? Charlie has them. Charlie Montero.
Greg Berhalter, the head coach of the U.S. men's national team, apologized on behalf of his players and staff for controversial social media posts by the U.S. Soccer Federation. The North American coach said the team was unaware of posts by soccer federations expressing support for Iranian people, but said the team is focused on tonight's match. The game between Portugal and Uruguay saw Qatar's 2022's first pitch invader. The activists ran onto the field flying a rainbow flag and wore a t-shirt that said "Safe Ukraine" on the front and "Respect for Iranian women" on the back. Agüero took to Twitter to defend Messi after Canelo's controversial tweet about Messi. The former Argentine forward said, "Mr. Canelo, don't look for excuses or problems. Surely you don't know about soccer and what happens in the locker room. The shirts are always on the floor after the games because they are full of sweat, and if you look closely, he accidentally kicks a jersey away when he takes off his boots." Trouble in the locker room for Uruguay. When Edison Cavani was asked about his team's problems and the World Cup, he replied, "Ask our coach, Diego Alonso. He is the one in charge of the tactical decisions." Qatar 2022 is entering its final round of group games. There will be changes in the timings of the matches. From today on, Matches of the same group will be played simultaneously instead of different times, as in the first and second rounds of group matches. This is so that no team gets an advantage in the qualification process. With both matches taking place at the same time, all 4 teams will have to react in real-time changes in the qualification scenario depending on both what is happening in their own matches as well as what happens in the other games.
Let me update one of Charlie's stories. The first pitch invader, the guy with the rainbow flag, posted all this on social media. He's from Italy, and FIFA saying he's not going to be able to go back to any of the games. Talking about games, Ecuadorian, right now they are leaving the stadium. They are really upset. Sometimes we confuse sports with our passion, and people get really upset. There is something really surprised me, and I cannot believe it. You know, during the a World Cup in Great Britain, when England raised the number of domestic violence. It's something unbelievable that we pay so much attention. 11 people playing against 11 following a ball, but that's a fact. The violence is raised when there is a losing of one of the British teams. But let's see the story to give you the context of what's going on.
In this sense, studies carried out in the United Kingdom suggest that the frequency of domestic violence episodes rises every time the English team plays by 26% and even more when it loses by 38%, due to the influence of multiple factors such as the consumption of alcohol and other substances that act as catalysts of these unfortunate events. According to this, it has also been pointed out that violent manifestations decrease during the 2 hours that a match lasts and begin to increase immediately afterwards, reaching their highest peak between 10 and 12 hours later, with a higher incidence towards women. Several organizations, such as Women's Aid and Refuge, that have a strong activism against domestic violence, have noted that although these sporting events and substance abuse contributes to the problem, the most worrying thing is that in fact violent attitudes pre-exist in the aggressors, so it is necessary to nip the evil in the bud, from which follows the relevance of continuing to speak out for the victims, promoting the channels of help and the importance of reporting these kind of situations.
What a difference 90 minutes make. When the game started, people from Ecuador, the fans, were chanting, they were happy, they were hoping to go to the next round. Now I'm looking at their faces, they are sad, they are depressed because they know the Ecuadorian dream is over. This is the time when we challenge you. We want to know how much you know about this beautiful game of football. We have a trivia, and it has to do with Ecuador, who is out of the World Cup. The question is this: how many times has Ecuador attended a World Cup? You have different options, and we will give you the answer at the end of this show. Remember, you can follow us on social media at The Field. If you want to follow me on Twitter at C. Montero Oficial. I tweet in Spanish, a good practice for you, and also I tweet in English. We'll be right back in a second.
The great and amazing Mundial.
Yes, thank
We're
you so
happy
much.
here for everything. Thank Qatar, thank everyone who joined us here, and thank you from the field.
And
Viva Cuba!